So when we thought there was going to be a lockdown, when the pandemic first hit, my mum was living on her own. I was living with a flatmate. But we realised that people over 70, which my mum is, were likely to be kind of isolated first because of being vulnerable. So I decided to pack up all my stuff from my flat. I have 2 screens for work as a freelance journalist, packed minimal clothes and got in the car. And as I was driving to my mum's house, Boris Johnson was announcing the lockdown at 8 p.m. on, I can't remember what weekday it was. Stay at home. You're only allowed out once a day, whatever it was. And when I first got home, I went into my bedroom, which was exactly the same as it had been when I was a 15-year-old.
So where are we?
We're in Lucy's bedroom in her home, where she was brought up.
Purple walls, weren't any posters on the walls, but I guess in a way I reverted to my teenage self. Because this was the house where I grew up and a lot had happened in that home. You know, I lost my dad more than a decade ago, and so it had gone from being a family home to just my mum living there. And so to start with, it was very frustrating, as it was for everyone to have all your freedoms taken away.
I remember at the beginning when they were first home, I remember thinking, you know, of course, that was when they said, you know, about 2 weeks to flatten the curve. So I thought, you know, 2 weeks, couple weeks, no problem. You know, we can stay in our pajamas and we can have time together and it's going to be really sweet. And then as time went on and on and on, I think that's when I was like, wow, this is going on for a long time. And I think it was just really hard to not have any separation. I mean, you know, our house is not that big and there's 5 of us. And so I think it's like, well, everywhere I go, there's a child or a husband, which I love my family very much, but there was just no break.
I work in the film industry and, you know, you're talking about telling a story in 30 seconds. 90 seconds is too slow, you know. So the idea of your relationship with time changing, I think that was the sort of biggest impact for me, and certainly, you know, with young kids as well, giving them that time to really play in a more kind of inventive kind of a way, because you had the time to invest in it. So during lockdown, we tried to come up with a different activity each day, and again, because we had time on our hands, that activity could be more involved than it might normally be on a given Sunday afternoon. So coming up with ideas that you know you wouldn't ordinarily have time to do, like building a wall of paper cups that's, you know, 200 cups high and 300 cups wide, that took you 90 minutes to build and then 6 seconds to knock over. That kind of stuff was always good fun. And I think whilst it was just a kind of a moment in time for the kids, I think, again, the quality of that time and the extent to which we were present as parents was amazing.
I think even now I can look back and
hey guys, here's my next video.
Realize that time with them was precious, even though it was hard. We got to know them better than we ever thought. I mean, it was really sweet to have them with us that much, even though it was very hard. It was time that we'll always have. Yeah.
She would come in with lemon cake in the afternoon. Then it was like 6:30 and it was dinner time. So I really was extremely lucky and spoiled in a way.
I stayed with my mum for 10 months over 2 lockdowns, which was amazing, really, wasn't it?
Yes, it was great. Absolutely wonderful to have the company.
Well, I think I did pretty well out of it. You cooked for me, made cakes, did my washing.
Yes, but you encouraged me.
And you know, the weather was great, so we'd go on walks and I got really tanned. And we did all those cliched things. We grew seeds and we planted them and we made bread and we talked. So We talked about my childhood, her parenting, how tough it was for her, how tough it is for all parents raising little kids, and how you don't know what you're doing. And I kind of said, you have to forgive yourself for what you consider to have done wrong. Like, I forgive myself. I forgive my parents for any of the tough times that they were having that rubbed off on me. And I don't mean that in a bad way, I just mean that everybody goes through stuff.
Ordinarily, those moments of opportunity are actually quite few and far between when you think your kids are at school all day and then at the weekend they've got sports and you've got social engagements yourself as a parent and an adult, and actually that quality time to sit and be present with your children, you know, isn't as regular as most of us would like.